just a quick word. So I got into a little bit of a, I guess you can call it a, not a really heated discussion, but more maybe a kind of a debate with a friend of mine about just the idea of Aliyah, Jews making Aliyah, and and I was trying to say that there's a situation right now. There's two things. There's a situation right now that's obviously dangerous for Jews, and it's only going to ramp up. And it's never been like this in America. It's never been like this, ever. The other aspect is, we have a tremendous opportunity because for the first time in 2,000 years, we have a land, and we have a country, and it's very, very flawed, but we have it, right? And it's never been easier to make Aliyah. We know the whole thing. Like, physically easier. Monetarily and physically, it's never been easier. No matter how you slice it, right? And I mentioned that, and my friend said, he asked me the question for some reason. He goes, what would the Lubavitcher Rebbe say about this? And I said, I have no idea what he would say, because we don't know what he would say, because, with the exception of, notwithstanding what a few of people in Chabad would say, the Rebbe is physically not with us, so he can't tell us what he would say today. So then my friend brought me a couple of videos from a couple of prominent Chabad rabbis, and one of the videos, Rabbi Y.Y. Jacobson, who I respect, was talking about, how Yosef, our forefather Yosef, how he was in Egypt, and how he basically, brought up Egypt, how he was successful in the exile, and how he actually brought up the exile, and how we're supposed to do that, and how we're supposed to continue to do that, and become, so to speak, the viceroys and all that kind of stuff. And my response to that is, it's true that happened. It's true that we did that. It's true that we got into the most powerful positions in the countries. It's true that we brought up those countries. It's true that we're bringing light and bracha and blessing to those countries. But guys, if you read, if you finish reading the end of Genesis, right, which talks about Yosef and that whole story, right, and then Yaakov and then his brothers and all that kind of stuff, and then you go to the next book. What's the next book? Shmot. Exodus. Shmot just means names, really. In English, they call it Exodus, right? The first thing it says, one of the first things it says in Shmot is, and a new Pharaoh came to Egypt who didn't know Yosef. What does it mean he didn't know Yosef? It means it's not that he didn't know Yosef. He had no connection to the Jewish people and understanding of what the Jewish people did for him. Yosef, when he was in Egypt, he circumcised all the men of Egypt, the Jews and the non-Jews, right? He brought bracha to Egypt, even when there was a famine, right? So in Shmot, already we see that the new administration, so to speak, doesn't know Yosef, and actually is concerned that the Jews are multiplying, and basically started enacting policies against the Jews, right? And interestingly enough, in that book, it's a book that talks about the ultimate galut, the last exile, and it goes from galut to geulah, from exile to redemption, right? And the person that took us out of redemption, Moshe, right? Notice, when he was coming to the Jews and he was trying to warn them or trying to tell them, listen, the redemption is here, the geulah is here, you know what they said to him? Dude, leave us alone, we're working, right? And in the beginning, they were getting paid. They were working very, very hard, but they were getting paid. They were getting paid a lot of money. And then they were getting paid less and less and less and less and less and less and less until they got paid nothing. And then not only they got paid nothing, they were physically subjugated and beaten and killed, physically decimated, right? By this new administration who didn't know Yosef. The very Yosef who brought up the country to be in that state, right? So friends, we see at some point in history, in Jewish history, whether it's in the Torah, what we see in the Torah, what we saw in Germany. You know, comes a new administration that doesn't know from Yosef. And then my friend turned to me and said, when I said that, he said, well, listen, man, so if what you're saying is true, and it is true, and all the big rabbis understand the same thing that you understand, they understand the Torah, they understand Jewish history, they see the Torah from that perspective also, they get it. Why are they not coming out and saying in public what you're saying and saying in public, you know, listen, that we're in danger? It must be they don't think we're in danger. Actually, folks, I know that they know that we're all in danger. The problem is that we don't have any leaders anymore. How do I know that? Because, you know, guys, I don't know if you remember, during COVID, Schmovid, right? You guys could go check out a video. The video, go on Rumble. I don't know if it's on YouTube. For sure it's on Rumble. It's called Rabbis, Robots, and Rodfim. The last word you spell R-O-D-F-I-M. Rodfim just means pursuers. Rabbis, robots, like a robot, Rodfim. You will see, so to speak, prominent rabbis from the Orthodox Jewish community in America. Some of them are modern, what's called modern yeshivish. Some of them are like straight up Haredi, yeshivish, Hasidic. Folks, screaming at people, at their communities, and anybody who will listen to go get the you-know-what. Go inject themselves with the you-know-what. My friends, my point is, it doesn't matter what I think about their opinion about this issue, right? What is instructive is that you can see when these rabbis feel strongly about an issue, it doesn't matter what the issue is, they get together. There was like 7 of them in this video, or 8 of them. It was like one of those, you know, like celebrity public service kind of announcement campaigns, except here it was rabbis. And they get together and they make a video because they think it's important. Everybody, go get this. What's the shaila? You know, why do you have such doubts about this? Go do this, go do that. Folks, if these rabbis cared, and if these rabbis didn't care about, the fact that they would probably lose half their congregants, and if they actually were leaders, and if they, didn't care about, losing half their funding, they would come out in public, as opposed to just keeping their opinions in private, which I know their opinions. They know that there's danger, and they know that it's probably time to leave. Okay? They would come out in the public and they would say so. Okay? But they're not. For that other issue that I mentioned, maybe they were blackmailed, maybe they were threatened, maybe it was popular to say what they were saying. Everybody else was saying it, right? So they came out and they said it, because they didn't want to be looked at as, like cavemen and troglodytes and anti-science and all the rest of it. So these rabbis are comfortable with saying the popular thing. But in the Jewish world, friends, the unpopular thing is to run around America screaming about Aliyah, the necessity for Aliyah. It's one of the most unpopular things in the Orthodox Jewish world, which is kind of strange, right? Because what's one of the biggest mitzvahs in the Torah? To Yeshuv Eretz Israel, to live in Israel, in the land. Not to worship the government, not to worship the state, not to worship, the Prime Minister of Israel, not to sing Hatikvah. One of the biggest mitzvahs in the Torah is Yeshuv Eretz Israel, is to live physically in the land of Israel. It's a huge mitzvah. It's probably bigger, that one mitzvah, than like a bunch of mitzvahs combined. And you would think that these rabbis would come out and say, come on, guys. This is not only this is important, but we're living in a time where, it's getting hot in here. Things are getting a little hairy. Maybe it's time to go. Maybe it's time to at least prepare. And if not go, at least, or maybe it's just time to at least learn how to defend ourselves. Friends, they're not even saying that. Not one rabbi has come out and said, guys, maybe it's time to leave the stupid blue states and go to, move to places, not just Florida, other places where you can maybe have a firearm. Have they said it? Not one, my friends, not one rabbi has mentioned that it's time to go. Not one rabbi in America has mentioned that it's time to purchase a firearm and defend yourself. Or at least learn, self-defense. Friends, we don't have any real leaders here. The silver lining is, the Torah says, Chazal say, where there are no men, be a man. Where there are no leaders, step up and be a leader. So, I think Hashem wants us to be what we're looking for. We have to stop waiting for those people to tell us to go do what we're supposed to be doing, and screaming at us and making videos and this and that and the other. It was very easy for them to tell us things that were popular, things that were being pushed by, what my friend Frank and I like to call Gnostic fruitcakes. It's very easy for a rabbi to come out and say, come on, do the thing that Dr. Fauci tells you to do, because everybody's going to do it, and everybody's running off a cliff to go do it. Again, it doesn't matter what I think about it. The point is, it's very easy to tell people popular things. But things that are tough, guys, don't expect your, so to speak, Gedolim to be on top of that. They're not going to be on top of that anytime soon. And for any of you watching who are in a rabbinical position or some kind of pulpit rabbi or community rabbi or this or that, my friends, the ball's in your court here. We're living in one of the most exciting yet crazy and very, very dangerous chapters in Jewish history. Mashiach is in the news. We are living in what's called the category, you can file it under the category of Mashiach in the news. And if you don't understand that, if you're a rabbi and you're not getting that, I don't know what you're doing. I really don't know what your goal is. I don't know what you're doing here. I don't know what you're doing. Anyway, guys, that's my little spiel about that. And everybody's got to step up. Wake up, step up, and moving forward.